when we're starting our walk, we always have Moose wait at all the boundaries so that when we finally get to the street, he's very calm. So you want to do it this way, and that starts on the inside at the doorway, and I do it exactly like this, the front door. He sits and waits, we open it up, we step through. We're just starting here at the gate because it's the same at the front door. We walk through the yard, he sits and waits here at this gate. You don't have a gate, but you have stairs, and I would treat the stairs as a boundary. So at the top of the stairs, do this, and then, okay. And make sure that he doesn't pull you down the stairs or through boundaries, through your front door. See how I did a little left turn? And just to make sure that he was walking slowly and not pulling me through and not racing, I kind of tapped him as I went through. Because as you know, he used to be a big puller. At least when he came here, the first couple of weeks, he pulled like crazy. So it took a while to get him to walk slowly and walk next to me. And that now we're on the street. The last thing we have to do is a curb, and then we can let him be free. But the reason for doing this is that if you start the training on the inside of your front door and he has to wait at every boundary exactly like that, it's really important that you do it that way. You have him sit, you step through, he waits till you step back, and then you take him through. You're accentuating the fact that that's your boundary. He doesn't get to race through after you. You're never going to call him to you through a boundary, because all you do obviously would be to teach the dog to race through and follow you through a boundary, and that would happen when you really didn't want it to happen, if the front door was ever open by mistake and he was right there. So the whole message obviously would be, you only go through that boundary if you go through with me, next to me, calmly, and don't pull. So if you always count the boundaries and treat the boundaries this way, you have a much higher likelihood of when there's an emergency, that door's open, he's there, he has to stay in there, but you can't watch him. You have a much better chance of him doing what you always do when you have a leash on him, which is to wait at that boundary until you come back, because he doesn't go through it to follow you or race through there. He just doesn't do it anymore because of the way you handle him when you take him on walks or take him out through the front door or through gateways. So that's why we do that. It's also great for his sitting skills, and it's a really great way to keep him very calm and stable by practicing with boundaries like this. Okay. Sit. And this is the first curb. We had to move away from the gate because it's very hot today and we had to find a shady part of the curb to have him sit and wait at. So our gate's back there. We walked over here. I have him do a little basic sit stay at the curb, just really basic, right? He stays in the stay while you walk around both ways. Takes you all of 5 seconds to do that. And then he waits. Okay, we're gonna cross the street. Just show me crossing the street here. See how he's not pulling me? So I treat the streets as the serious training areas, because obviously we want him to look at, the street and going out into the street. Sit. It's a very serious thing, and he only does it with you, and he only does it calmly in training mode, just like you just saw. And then on either side, go. You release him to be free, and then your walk can start. So always have him sit at a curb. Takes you like 10 seconds probably. Have him sit, do your walk around sit stay, cross the street in a very structured way in training mode, as you just saw. Have him sit on the other side, release him to be free. And most of the walk can be like this. And really the only thing you're going to pay attention to is keeping that leash loose, because a tight leash or anything like this causes stress and overstimulation, and that's our enemy, of course, when we're walking a dog. And you're paying attention to the leash and not having tension, and you're also going to be calling him away from distractions. Good, which we're going to work on later on in this video. Sit. We are practicing a sit stay here in a very public place. We're doing this because we want to show you that Moose can actually do this in the presence of distractions. So it's not just in a yard where nothing's going on. Go ahead, you can walk next. See, there's a lot going on actually. And he's really developed a great sit stay. Good, see how I reward him? I walk back next to him. Eye contact, good, straight down. So really, you want to really have eye contact when you reward him. It seems like a little thing, but it's really important, especially if you're doing this, 10, 15 times a day with a sit stay in a difficult situation, because So if he pops up like that, because there's just a little bit too much going on here, you say no. See, all I did was I applied just a little bit of pressure and he went back. I didn't say SIT again. Part of the power of saying it only one time is that he starts to take it really seriously when you only say it once. If you start, and the more you do this, the calmer he gets and the less susceptible to stress he becomes over time, because you're training his brain when you're doing this. Down. So I helped him do this. And you saw my left foot, because in a stressful situation where there's a lot going on, he might hesitate when you say down and might need a little bit of help. But as you practice that way, the way I did it, where everything happens at once, down like that, very quickly, you won't have to do that part anymore. If you do it the other way, where you say down, he hesitates, he ignores you or whatever, and then you do this, you'll get stuck in that pattern, and that'll be the way it is for the rest of his life. You'll say it, he'll ignore you, and then he'll think, now he's going to force me down. So do it all together, and very quickly, you don't have to do the physical part where you touch the leash with your foot. He'll just go down with the words. Okay, so we're going to try that right now. Down. So you see how it ends. He starts doing it. That time I didn't even touch the leash. All I had to do was just lift my foot a little bit. Pretty soon you'll just say the command and he'll just drop. The stay is built into down. So you don't have to say stay. I've never said stay to him. He knows that when I say down, it means to stay there until I release him. So if I wasn't talking to you now, I really wouldn't have said anything but one word, just down to him. Less is more, definitely. And if he gets up before you release him, you say no. And you just put him back. He has to wait until you come back next to him. This is the only way that he leaves a down stay. Come back next to him, you say, okay. Okay, have him sit and release him from a calm sit stay. Everything starts with a calm sit stay and ends with a calm sit stay. The reason you don't release him from a down stay is because dogs will very often be anticipating that, and they'll jump up and run around and be all excited, and it destroys the calmness we're trying to build in the dog. And pretty much the whole walk is just him on a loose leash. If he's walking too fast, or if he's starting to pull, I just do little taps like that. And if you back away as you tap it, good boy, he's going to come your way. That's one of the main moves in dog training, is you back away. So he doesn't know I'm backing away, but if I tap him, he sees I'm backing away, he'll come my way. It's so simple, right? And that leads me to the next move. Big, major dog training move is always stepping into the dog, because since the tight leash is our enemy, causes stress, and eventually can lead to leash aggression and all kinds of horrible, different inappropriate behaviors. If you're turning left, even if I'm going to go right, and I turn left to go right, see how the leash just stays loose? And if he lags behind, you just tap him a little bit, and he catches up. And if you're teaching a dog to be right there, reward him, mark that behavior right when he gets there next to you. He's already starting to want to be next to me all the time. And as you can see, there's no struggle. It's so easy. You just have to get used to not choking up, not doing that kind of stuff, not popping and jerking, because with a dog like Moose, he's going to get stressed out again. Sit. We're walking Moose up to the person we're going to introduce him to. He sits, he waits, I step away from him, give the person a nice treat. He waits till I come back with my right hand. See how he's waiting? You're not restraining him. It's all loose leash. Pat his chest, go say hi. Go, come on, bud. Gets a treat, gets petted, you can pet him. Come, I call him back to me. Good. Just calling him to come exactly the way that we would do in any other situation. Sit. Just going to do it a couple of times. Step away. Since he had an issue with somebody on the street, and I know that it was a stressful situation, we've been practicing this greeting routine with different people every day. So it really does help. It's also another way to practice. Nope. If he pops up, you say no, you step into him. Gently but firmly put him back. It's a very hot day here today and everybody is kind of on edge. It's like 100 degrees today in Burbank. It's only 11:30 in the morning, 12 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock noon. So none of us are at our best, but Moose is doing really well considering. So he sits, I stepped away, gave her a treat, stepped back to him, pat his chest, say, go say hi, good, come. It's a great way to practice your sit stays and your recall. Just another situation, sit. Another real life situation where you can actually practice his skills, and it helps him in the situation of meeting a new person. He might be excited because he really likes a person or he doesn't know them or whatever. But if you do this with a lot of different people like we already have, you'll see just even when you don't have a chance to do this routine, which later on you don't have to do it, but if you keep doing it like this for 20, 30 more people, then he'll be really calm. And now we have distraction coming, so we're going to do this one more time before he comes closer. Treat, go. He'll start to get really calm. Come, and calm down. Good, even if he is excited, he'll calm down. Sit a lot sooner when he is just on free time, when a person shows up at your house or somebody that he really likes shows up at your house or anywhere out in public. Okay, let's go, bud.